Friday afternoon, your large language model call works in the notebook and fails in production. The model returns a friendly sentence before the JavaScript object notation or JSON. Your parser throws. Your retry loop asks again with the same vague prompt. The next answer has different keys. After 10 retries, the user still has no result. Your logs are full of almost right outputs, and nobody knows whether the task failed or the wrapper failed. That is not an agent problem yet. That is one sloppy call pretending to be reliable. The beginner pattern is one giant prompt string. Explain the task, paste the data, ask nicely for JSON, and hope. It breaks because the model is optimizing for a helpful response, not for your parser. It may add commentary, rename a field, include a value your code cannot handle, or infer facts not in the data. More examples help, but examples alone are not a contract. Temperature changes, model upgrades, and slightly different inputs expose the weakness. If the caller cannot tell success from failure mechanically, you do not have a dependable building block. The core idea is simple. Every useful model call should have the same bones. A system prompt sets the role and operating rules. A task spec says what to do right now. Constraints say what not to invent and how to handle unknowns. Examples show the shape of good behavior. A schema defines the exact output contract. A validation gate checks the result before your application trusts it. A repair ladder gives the model one narrow chance to fix formatting or schema errors. If that fails, return a real failure. This is the first reusable prompt template in your Foundations library. Here is the function shape we will use from now on. Ask task data returns a typed object or a failure. Inside, build messages from fixed pieces, not string soup. System, you are a careful extractor, return only valid JSON. Task, the caller's specific instruction. Data, serialized input. Constraints, use only data, unknown becomes null, no extra keys. Examples, one small input and one ideal output. Schema, the fields, types, allowed values, and required keys. Then call your model through whatever application programming interface you use. Parse the text, validate it, and only then hand the object to the rest of the program. Let's make this concrete. The user pastes one support email, and we want a triage object, customer name, topic, priority, and reason. The task says classify this email for support routing. The data is only the email text. Constraints say do not guess the customer name. Use null if absent. Priority must be low, medium, or high. Reason must quote or summarize evidence from the email. The schema requires all 4 keys and rejects extras. Run ask, task, data. A good result is not just plausible. It parses, validates, and fits the type your routing code expects. This template is not magic. If your schema is vague, the model will still find the gray areas. If your task asks for judgment, 2 valid outputs may differ. If you silently repair forever, you hide prompt bugs and burn tokens. My rule of thumb is 1 repair attempt with the validation error included, then fail loudly. Also, do not confuse JSON-looking text with a typed object. Parsing is not validation. Validate required keys, types, enums, ranges, and extra fields in normal code. The trap many tutorials skip is measuring only happy path output. Test boring failures, missing data, and messy input. Every later episode builds on this atom. Tool calling is a model call that chooses an action under a schema. Memory is a model call that summarizes or retrieves state under constraints. Planning is several model calls stitched together, each with gates. An agent is not a mystical loop. It is a harness around repeated calls with a goal, role, tools, permissions, state, termination rules, and error handling. If one call is unreliable, the loop amplifies that unreliability. So before we build agents that act, we build a call that can say, here is the typed result, or here is why I cannot produce one. Your exercise is safe and local to your machine. Pick a small task, classify 3 fake support emails, summarize a grocery receipt you wrote, or extract tasks from a note. Write ask, task, data. Use your current provider's newest capable model. The call shape is the same across providers. Define a small schema with 2 strings and 1 enum. Run the exact same input 10 times. Your goal is same substance and 0 unparsable outputs. Log raw output, parsed object, validation result, and repair count. If any run fails, improve the template or schema before adding complexity. 3 beats to keep. First, a prompt template is not decoration. It is the contract for one model call. System, task, constraints, examples, schema, gate, and repair. Second, ask, task, data should return a typed object or a clear failure, never a mystery string that downstream code has to interpret. Third, every agent we build later is made of these atoms, repeated under a harness. New Agent Foundations episode daily. In the paid libraries at aislabs.ai, I go deeper with reusable templates, validators, and production test cases you can adapt.